So, what is that intro all about? Well, today's episode is all about not giving up. There are so many times where people tell us we can't do this and we can't do that and we should wait for the right time and, maybe this will be in a better circumstance for something to begin. And I'm here to tell you, don't worry about it. Just get doing it and just get going. I'm going to share some of my top tips to be able to not give up and to keep going, not only through lockdown, but just this general craziness of a dance life. And we've also got an amazing interview with Nikki Watson of Coda Dance. And she's going to tell us about how she got there. She's going to tell us about how she's been surviving through lockdown and hopefully a few little tips in there as well to kind of keep you guys going through everything that's happening, which is kind of crazy. But there you go. For us to get into the intro, I am going to do this. Are you ready? I want to talk a little bit about this. You see, the thing is that when we first went into lockdown, quite a few people started saying, well, this community group wouldn't do this in digital. Another person started saying, well, in fact, this community group wouldn't like to do that at all. I just got really, really irritated with it. I was like, actually, people love dancing, and if there's a way to communicate it and get it from one place to another, then surely we should just be giving it a go. I think actually what people were doing is doing a lot of assumptions that things were going to be more difficult or they weren't going to enjoy it, and actually without even trying. So I guess this is where my two top tips into just not giving up really come in. So here we go. Tip number one. Tip number one is all about just getting going. I have really learned to accept through all of the dance things that I do, the first time I have a go at something, I'm going to be rubbish at it. Which sounds terribly negative, but actually if I accept that I'm going to be rubbish at it or I'm going to fail a little bit, then it means that I get through the rubbish bit faster and then I can get to the good stuff straight away. If I wait and I plan and I overthink everything, then I never get started. So I guess the first thing is just get through the rubbish bit really quickly and get to some action. That's where the good stuff is. Tip number two is just to start small. Like I call it Project Lemonade stands. You just got to start like a little small stand and then it'll grow into a massive empire. If you try and think of everything being really big and everything, being the end result, it's really way too much. And it will stop you and it will make you want to give up. So top tip number two for never giving up is start small. I hope these tips help. Okay, everybody, I'm here with the lovely Nikki Watson of Coda Dance. Nikki, rather than me go on loads and loads as I do, would you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you get started in all of this community dance business?
Years and years and years ago, was asked to go and teach street dance to a community centre. And I got to this community centre and it was in the middle of a really, really rough estate in Edinburgh. Mm-hmm. And I basically had to go around the community centre, gathering these kids up and bribing them to come into these sessions. And then there was two kids really who really connected with it. And it turned out both of them had a really horrendous backstory, and I guess looking back now, that was my first introduction to community dance. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but just being able to connect with this girl and understanding that we managed to take her out of a really bad situation. Mm-hmm. And I was young at the time, and I went to college, and my college tutor said to me, she was like, Nikki, there's a bit of madness inside you and I just need you to go to London and find this madness and just use it. And so that was kind of my first experience. And then I had this tutor who told me to go and do stuff. I was a little bit older, so I was like, really worried about going back to uni when I was everyone else was young and flexible and all of the other stuff that I kind of wasn't by this stage. And then had a couple of really great tutors at uni as well, who really encouraged me to find that madness. And, it was always about choreography and how I could tie that into community work. Had a really great community dance tutor as well. And then kind of came out of it, and I was like, oh, this really awful thing happened when I was in, I was really lucky. I went to New York and studied in New York for the summer. And when I was over there, I got a phone call, and this was before Zoom, so it was an actual phone call. Got a phone call from mum, and she was like, "Oh, so you know all this stuff that's been going on? I've finally been diagnosed, and I've got MS." And I was like, "Huh? You got what now?" And the only person I knew that had had MS was someone who lived along the street from us at home and was in a wheelchair. And you know, this is my mum who goes hill walking. She's a nurse. Like, she's always been like our solid rock. And to think, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, that's it. She's going to end up in a wheelchair tomorrow. You know, so kind of had to do a lot of research around it. And when I came back, I was lucky enough to start working and dancing with Can Do Too. And so the Candico Youth Company. And so I was immersed in this kind of dance and disabilities world, and trying to figure out how I could do some stuff with MS, still doing my degree as well. And I was like, there must be stuff out there. There's loads of stuff with Parkinson's. There must be something for MS. And I couldn't find anything. And so I decided to, and with all of my infinite wisdom, which was almost zero, I went, well, I'll make a project then. And I think I got like £1,000 when Big Dance used to do those little micro grants, like many, many moons ago. But there was like a tiny amount of money. So it was like £1,000. And I created what can only be called a giant project for like £1,000. And I was working with people with MS, and I was working with uni students. And at the time I was also I'd made a duet about me and my mum's changing relationship. And I was really lucky that the university gave us studio space, and then was like, look, if you want to put a show on, share what you've done, have the theatre for free. So they were amazing. And we just filled out this theatre with people who would never normally come and watch contemporary dance. So there was family members, there was nurses, there was doctors, there was occupational therapists, there was people with and without disabilities. And there was just this beautiful moment of going, this is it. This is what it is. It's about bringing people together on stage, but also in an audience, whereby we can start making conversations. Because that moment there was one of our participants' sisters turned around and said, I have never seen her so alive. And then someone else started talking about their experience of their family member, and they then started talking about their experience of what it was like to have MS. And I just sat back and went, this is it. This is what everything has led up to, and this is what I need to do going forward. And I need to make sure that everything that I make and everything that I do is about giving people a voice, giving them a way to express themselves, giving them joy. Like fundamentally, that is what dance brings us. And then how can we use that to open up lines of communication? And so that is kind of what I've been working towards ever since, really.
Nikki, I mean, it's so inspirational to hear. It's such a really powerful story from, I don't know, from not expecting to fall into a job like this to having something in your family, to connecting it to the people at the outside. And yeah, it really resonates with my own story. I sort of similarly fell into kind of community dance and got to this place. And I think that's always connected me to people. Nikki, I also know that you do a lot with digital work. Obviously, this is what this series has been about. And I know that you've been doing digital work across the kind of lockdown as well. Could you tell us a bit about that? Because it sounds like the same story of resilience is like gone straight into lockdown for us as well.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I think one of the things was I saw quite quickly loads of people putting stuff online. And one of the things that I've always been really, I want to say concerned, but it is like one of the things that I keep at the heart of everything I do is keeping people safe. And so like I wanted to make sure that when I was doing stuff online, whether that was with kids or adults or, you know, particularly people with neuro conditions. How can we keep people safe when we can't physically be in the same room as them? And we worked really hard to make sure that we had a really cohesive plan of what to put together. We'd worked in this hospital for like 2 years, so the Royal Hospital for Neurodisabilities. Everyone we work with has acquired brain injury, and that is just not like there's one type and everybody experiences the same thing. Some people are sensitive to sound, some people are sensitive to light, some people have no movement in any of their limbs. There's just such a broad spectrum of people that we work with that we were like, if we're going to offer this online, we need to get this right. People told us that we wouldn't be able to dance with people that couldn't move, and we did it. You know, people have constantly said, oh, those things can't happen. So I was like, do you know what, this can happen, because fundamentally the reason that we're doing it is to give people a good experience. Our dance was part of their lives, their weekly lives, for so long that there is a way that we can make this work, because we're thinking about them. And as long as we put them first and our patients and our participants first, we can make this work.
I guess what I'm sort of shocked by when I hear the story is just about, and that this was happening in a hospital when we were kind of told you can't go near hospitals, and actually you were still making it happen, and the hospitals are still making it happen, and the participants were still going with it and still having it. What maybe it's a hard question. What gives you this drive? I mean, like, why didn't you give up? Basically, it sounds hard. Is it who you are?
Yeah, I think that is just a big part of my personality.
Hmm.
Um, I I don't know. I just don't give up. I think sometimes, and I know that you're pretty much the same as me. I just think when you know what your purpose is, and when
Hmm.
you know what you're meant to be doing,
Hmm.
and it takes a long time to get there, and it takes a long time to be confident enough to be like, oh yeah, this is what I do and this is why I do it.
Hmm.
And you know, I've not always had that confidence. It's taken a long time to get there, and it's having people around you like mentors and a really trusted team, and then, you know, understanding that people are going to come back to you and be like, that was brilliant, that really connected, and you go, yeah, it did actually. And I think my drive just comes from connecting with people.
I knew that it would be a difficult question to answer, really, because it's just sort of like, it's just part of who you are. And so we've been asking each week about kind of like, you know, top 3 tips to sort of work. So yeah, just some top 3 coded tips. That'd be great.
I think one of the biggest and best things that you can do is surround yourself with people who have the same mission as you do.
Okay.
Like when I look at my facilitators, our CODA board, our company producer, we are all driven by impacting people's lives in a positive way.
Mhm.
And so it just makes your job a lot easier when everyone is going on the same pathway, and we're like, yeah, are you willing to do that? Yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to get on Zoom. We're going to make all the mistakes. Let's try it. Let's do it. And everyone's like, yep, we're behind you. Tip number 2 is get a mentor. Get a mentor. The like, in business, people always get a mentor, right? Like, it's really commonplace. And in the arts, like, not so much. But I have to say, I was lucky years ago to get a mentor, and she was part of instilling this confidence in me, because she was like, I see that you have community dance at your heart, and you just need to accept that, understand it, take it and run with it, and know that it's in you. Sometimes it can't be taught, okay? And what you have, you need to use. It's a gift. It's like when you're a dancer and you're a great dancer, it's a gift and you have to use it. If you're great at community dance, it's a gift and you have to use it, because it's there to impact other people's lives. So yeah, get a mentor and believe in yourself. That's
Fantastic.
that's it. I
That's
think.
fantastic. And I've said every week, Nikki, if people want to get in touch with you, are you happy for people to reach out to you?
Of course, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Nikki. That is brilliant.
Thank you for having me on. It's amazing. I love all the things that you're doing, and I'm so glad that someone is out there pushing how great community work is and giving a better understanding for things that can happen in the community.
Thank you, Nikki. That was amazing. You are a proper inspiration in the community dance world, not only in your journey to get all the way there, but then to actually, in this whole crazy pandemic, keep going, keep marching forward with that digital work. Well, I'm blown away, and actually it's really inspired me to get on with doing what I need to do. It's the message of the whole episode, isn't it? Just don't give up. Keep on going. All right, so this is episode 10 of Dance Digital and Participation. I will repeat that, episode 10 of Dance Digital and Participation. Who knew that we would get this far? If you haven't already subscribed, can you please subscribe somewhere down here, or maybe over here, or somewhere up here, I don't know. If you could like it, it makes you feel good, it makes me feel good. Don't do the down one, that's bad. And if you would like to ask a question or leave a comment, then you can do that as well. Last final thing is, I want to see everybody dancing every day. My kind of dance today has been a little floaty number to kind of let my hair go floppy, and I'm just wondering about what dance you have done today. Maybe it's with your mum or your auntie or with your dog, and if you haven't, why not? Come on, get and do it. It's going to make you feel great. All right, this is Tom Hobden signing over and out. Goodbye.